Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kay and today's video is my first update on my Project Pan. So if you don't know what Project Pan is, I'm going to link my intro video somewhere, whichever side it's supposed to be on. There'll be a link above my head somewhere for you to check out. If you check that out, then it'll have all the information about exactly what a Project Pan is, what I intend to do with my Project Pan, the products that I'm using for my Project Pan and why, and it'll just give you a little bit more information and a bit of a starting point for what's going on here. So in this video, I'm just going to do a quick update on all the products, tell you what their new weights and measures are, and just let you know how I'm getting on with the project really. So we're just going to get straight into it with my primer. So the primer I put in the project is the NYX Angel Veil primer, and there it is. I really like this primer, nothing's changed about that. I don't think there can be an awful lot left, it's starting to feel really light. So the starting weight for this was 30 grams and the new weight is now 28 grams. So I've used about 2 grams. As I mentioned in my intro video, I'm a bit dubious about how accurate my scales are measuring everything, but we'll go with what it says for now, see how we get on as we go through the project. But yeah, 2 grams, I think that's pretty good progress. I've not used makeup a massive amount throughout January, so 2 grams is okay for me. So 2 grams I think is pretty good for me, considering I've only really been wearing makeup maybe 2 or 3 times a week, if that. So yeah, that's pretty good. Next was my foundation, actually 2 foundations. So the first one is the Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation. When I first bought this, I really liked it. I still don't think it's too bad, but I've definitely got better foundations in my collection now. I just don't like this as much as I used to. I don't hate wearing it, but I am noticing that it doesn't sit on my skin quite as nicely. It is sort of highlighting dry areas, so not my favourite. Probably not going to repurchase this once it's done, but for a cheap foundation, it's alright actually. It's really nice. I still really quite like it. And the starting weight for this was 113 grams, and it's currently weighing in at 109.5 grams. So again, considering I've not worn a lot of makeup, I think that's fairly decent progress. So hopefully throughout February I can use a bit more, so that's good. And the second foundation was the Hourglass Vanish stick thing. Barely touched this. I had no reason to. I was using the liquid. As I said, wasn't wearing makeup an awful lot throughout January. I used it a couple of times, but I used it mainly as a concealer rather than as a foundation. It's lighter than the concealer that I've got in my project is, so I was using it a little bit as a brightening concealer, and it's not too bad, but I find that it does sort of highlight all my creases under my eyes, so not a massive fan of this. I think I'm going to struggle to finish it if I'm honest, but I'm going to keep it in. I'm going to persevere with it for a little while and see how we get on. But the starting weight for this was 48.5 grams and it's still showing at 48.5 grams. So definitely not even made a dent on that. So it's a bit disappointing, but I'm really not surprised. So next is my concealer, and this is the Pony Effect Pro Fit Liquid Concealer. And this one is really frustrating. So as a concealer it's not too bad. As a spot concealer it's pretty good. For under my eyes I don't really like it that much. It's quite thick, high coverage. I don't really need a massive amount of coverage under my eyes. I want some, but I don't need it to be thick and heavy, and I do find that this is quite thick. It just emphasises things. I actually think it makes me look older. So I'm not really as much of a fan of this as I was when I originally had it. But again, as I said in my first video, as a spot concealer, it's really good. I do like it as a spot concealer, but the frustrating thing about this is that I know I've used it. So I know I have used this. I've used it every time I've done my makeup. So please explain to me how it is exactly the same weight as when I started. When I started the project, this was at 24 grams and it's still weighing in at 24 grams. How? How? I don't know. As I said, I'm not entirely sure about the accuracy of my scales, but everything else that I've used a lot seems to have come down. This has just sat there and I know I've used it, so frustrated with this one, but I'm going to keep it in because I want to use it up. But yeah, not thrilled with the progress of that one at all. Next we've got the Huda baking powder. Mine was in the shade Pound Cake. I'm actually quite surprised with this one. I like the product. I think I featured it in my favourites and fails for 2019 video. I still really like it, and the only reason that I've put it in is because it had a shorter period after opening date than all of my other powders. The reason I'm surprised is that I don't use a lot of powder when I do my makeup, and yet I've somehow managed to use a whole gram, which some of you might be thinking, really? Is that all? For me, I was expecting this to show no change whatsoever, because I literally just sort of put a bit on as a setting sort of powder under my eyes, and that's pretty much it. So the fact that I've used a gram, I'm quite happy with. If I can put makeup on more often than I did in January, I'll probably get better results next month. So that's exciting to know. I mean, this is like a 20 gram, is it? Yeah. 20 grams. So if I'm using a gram a month, this is going to take me a long time. So I do need to try and crack on with this a little bit, but I'm enjoying the product. So it's one of those things that I don't mind using every day. So I'm quite happy with that. I could do with using a bit more, but I'm happy that I've made any progress at all. So that's that one. Okay, so next was the fixing spray. So this was the cooling fixing spray from Revolution. As I said in my intro video, the reason I've put this in is because it's getting old. I need to get some use out of it before I throw it away, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to finish this before that happens. I have managed to use some, but you can see I've only used sort of from there, that's where it started, and I've managed to come down to there. So not amazing progress, but I'm happy that I have actually managed to use it. I can't use it as a setting spray, and it is only a fixing spray anyway, so I've literally only been able to use it after I've sort of put on my foundation and powder, just to try and rehydrate the skin a little bit if I need to. It kind of works for that, but it's definitely not my favourite spray at all. I've got others in my collection that I prefer to use instead. Again, this is something that I'm going to keep in for a little while longer, but I don't think it's going to make it past the refresh because I just don't enjoy using it. So that's that. Next was the bronzer, and in my project I've got the Benefit Hoola bronzer. This is the original shade. It's old, it needs using. It had got quite a bit of pan to start with. I'm not sure how much it had at the beginning of last month, but this is where we're up to now. And I have made some progress with this in terms of actually weighing it, but I haven't made a lot. So at the beginning of the project this weighed 38 grams, it's now weighing in at 37.5. I'm not massively surprised. Bronzer is one of those products that I don't really use a massive amount of, and as I've said, I didn't really wear a lot of makeup, so I'm not surprised that I haven't made a lot of progress. I'm just happy that I've made some. And I'm going to try and find a still as well from my intro video, just so that I can see if there has actually been any sort of visible progression with that pan. The only thing that I'm finding with the bronzer is that when I first had it, I really liked it. I loved this product. I loved it so much I brought it back up. So I do actually have a brand new one of these sitting in a drawer waiting to be used. It's quite warm toned on me. So if I sort of go in a bit heavy handed with it, it just looks a bit orange on me, which I don't enjoy. I prefer a cooler toned bronzer these days. So that's another reason why I don't think I've used a massive amount of it. But it does the job. I'm getting through it. It's just not exactly what I'm after these days. So I'll be glad when this is gone, and I have a feeling that I might be decluttering the one that I've got a backup of. But yeah, that's that. Not upset, but would like to make more progress during February. Next we've got the Hervana blush, also from Benefit. Again, I've got a tiny little bit of pan in the middle. I feel like that's probably got a bit bigger. And again, I've not made a massive dent in it in terms of an actual weight on the scales. Again, it's only 0.5 gram. So at the beginning of the project, this was 42 grams and now it's 41.5. So yeah, again, not a product that I use a massive amount of when I do use it. So the fact that I've made any progress at all is great. I just want to get some more use out of it during February. I find that the colour is working really, really well with the eye makeup that I've been using, because it's got that sort of purpley sort of tone in it, and we'll get onto the eyeshadow in a moment obviously. Because my eyeshadow palette is purple based, I'm finding that this sort of ties in quite nicely. It doesn't look out of place when I'm using it, so that's really nice as well. It means that I'm not trying to use a product that doesn't really work with the other products that I've got, so that's cool. As I said, hoping I can get more use out of it, but pleased with the progress that I've currently made. So next was highlighter, and the one that I put in the project was from Milk Makeup. So this, I don't think it has a shade, does it? It just says highlighter. Yeah, so it's just a sample I had in a subscription box, but that's what it looks like at the moment. So I have used this a few times. I haven't struggled to use it as much as I thought I would. I thought with me having powder products, having the one cream product might cause me some difficulties. But actually I find that I can use it and it doesn't completely mess up what's underneath. Because I don't use a lot of setting powder around this area. It's not disrupting anything. There's nothing there really for it to disrupt anyway. It sits nicely on my skin. It's kind of a healthy glow kind of highlighter, not a high I'm wearing highlighter kind of thing. So it's kind of nice to use every day if I'm not going for that sort of out there look. I just want to go to the shop, for instance. It's quite a nice product to be able to use. So I have used it. Obviously I've not used a lot of it, and the weight when I weighed it just hasn't moved. So it was 16 grams when I started. It's still weighing in at 16 grams now, which is a bit frustrating, but I'm not surprised because the amount that I do use isn't a lot, and I haven't used it every time I've done my makeup. So hopefully I can get some more use out of it in February, but I'm not upset to keep it in. So the next product is eye primer, and mine is the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Sin. This is another product that the weight just doesn't seem to have moved at all. It was 18 grams when I started the project. It's still 18 grams. I have used it I'm surprised it hasn't gone down a little bit, but yeah, not massively shocked. But I do want to try and get through some more of this now, so I'm going to keep this in. Still not my favourite. I'm still not going to repurchase this once I've got rid of it. I do prefer the Eden. As I mentioned in the intro video, this one's quite shimmery. I don't like shimmery eyeshadow primers, so it is what it is. But for now, keeping it in. Eyeshadow then. So in my project, I've got the Viseart Liaison palette. I'm just going to show you what the pans currently look like. So I don't know if you can tell that I've made any kind of use of this. I'm pretty sure you can. I know I've used sort of these neutral shades here quite a bit. I've tried to use this darker shade a lot, and I've actually had some fairly decent use out of this light purple shade. So the weight hasn't moved. It was 119.5 grams when I started the project. It's still weighing in at 119.5 grams. Not massively surprised. Eyeshadow is just something that it's just really hard to try and make any kind of dent in terms of an actual visible weight loss. But I'm using it. I've used it every time I've done my makeup. In fact, one of the problems that I'm having with this is that I'm struggling to want to use it. I am using it because it's in my project. So if I want to do my makeup, I'm making sure that I'm using it. But I'm not finding that I'm enjoying myself when I'm doing it, which is kind of the reason why I do makeup. I know what I've done wrong. I've put a palette in and I've literally just gone, I need to use that palette. I've not really sort of gone, yeah, but I can use other things with it to sort of help me use it and help me enjoy using it. So I am looking at maybe using it in conjunction with another palette. I just haven't decided what that palette might be yet. I might not pick a particular palette. I might just use it with other things in my collection as and when I feel like it, depending on what colour story I want to use. But yeah, I've struggled a bit to try and enjoy myself using this. I like it. I still really like the palette. I love the purples in it, and it is really easy to wear. I can literally just put a couple of shades on and go. This is quite a nice one to use. It's not shimmery, it's kind of like a satin, so just as a wash of colour on the eye, that's been really nice. So if I've wanted sort of a no makeup look, then that's the one that I've gone to for that. But if I want some colour, I'm pretty much just stuck with purple, which I don't always want. Sometimes I want something a bit warmer. I do quite like warm tones on my eyes, so I do need to use it with something else. But I need to sort of have a look at that and think a bit more about what I want to do with it. I'm keeping it in, but I think forcing myself to just use one palette, it's kind of put me off a little bit. So I want to try and use it in a way that excites me. So I'm going to try and do that a bit more throughout February. So hopefully next month I'll have a bit more of a positive take on this palette. So that's that. Okay, so next was the Illamasqua Chrome, what is it? It's the Iconic Chrome Pigment Paint, and this one was in the shade Passionate. I've used this twice, literally only twice, so not much progress made at all, but I do love this colour. A couple of weeks ago, I was really fed up of purple, so I just decided no, I'm just going to use this, and I literally just used this one colour all over my eyelid. It was a bit heavy, but I didn't care. I just wanted warm tones on my eyelids, so this did the job. Really like it. Did what I needed it to do. Didn't crease on me or anything, so I'm going to keep this in and try and get some more use out of it. Because I've only used it twice, there's been no weight change on it. It was 44.5 grams when I started the project. It's still 44.5 grams. Okay, so next we're on to eyeliners, and the first one is the liquid eyeliner, and this was from Eyeko. It's the Black Magic liquid eyeliner plus Widelash. So I don't wear a lot of liquid eyeliner, but I have been making an effort to try and practice with it. So I've not necessarily worn it with my makeup, which you might class as cheating, but the idea of me putting this in my project was so that I could use it a bit more often and try and practice using it, because I don't use it very often. Whenever I do, it's been horrendous. It's still pretty horrendous. The product itself I actually really like, but it's my application technique that's hideous. I find that on the outer edge of my eye I can sort of get it to not look too bad, but the second I go anywhere sort of near here, I find that I'm just blinking and I'm ending up with a smear of eyeliner all over my eyelid, which isn't cute. So I definitely need more practice, but I'm trying, and that's all I really wanted to do with this, was just have the opportunity and put my attention onto it so that I would try it. I'm going to keep it in, I'm going to keep trying it. I do actually really like the tip on this. It's really fine, so I'm finding that if it is smearing everywhere, it's because I've blinked, not because I've got a thick line of eyeliner. So I'm really liking that, and just with me practicing with it, I've actually managed to use 0.5 gram. So it was 6.5 grams when I started the project. It's now weighing in at 6 grams. So I'm making progress. I'm not making progress in terms of me using it day to day, but it's getting used, so I can't complain too much, and I'm going to keep it in and keep trying. And the eyeliner pencil was the Bourjois Kohl and Contour eye pencil. I've used this more often than I've used the liquid eyeliner. I'm just more comfortable with pencil eyeliners, so it's been a bit easier to try and use. So I don't have a weight for this, I just have the measurement on the page, which I'll pop in so you can see. But yeah, I have made some progress on it, so I'm quite pleased with that. Keeping it in, I'm going to keep using it. It's a black eyeliner, it's useful, so that's that. Next was my mascara, and this one is the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. It's just a mini, it's old, it needs using up. It's actually still going. I thought maybe it would be like dead by the end of this month, sort of like all dried up and unable for me to use it, but actually it's still working. It's not causing me any irritation, it's not flaking off into my eyes, so I'm not throwing it away until it's done. So it's still working, I'm still going to use it. I am however going to put another mascara into the project as a backup, just in case this does either run out or die during February. But I'll mention that at the end once I've done an update on all the other items. So yeah, so still works really well, still enjoying it, keeping it in. It's not quite as done as I thought it might be. So it started off at 22 grams and it's now weighing in at 21.5. And this is why I'm really frustrated with the concealer, because mascara, surely I use less mascara than I use concealer. So someone please explain to me how I've managed to use 0.5 gram of mascara but not even 0.5 gram of concealer. It just makes no sense. No sense. I don't know. So now we're on to brow products, and the first one was the Benefit Goof Proof. I think mine's in the shade 5. Yep, shade 5. Didn't really use this an awful lot. I went for quite a lot of easy makeup days, so nothing too extravagant. Not that I do a lot with my brows anyway, but when I did use brow products, I tended to just use the other brow product that I've got in here over this one. So I've not made any progress in terms of how much I've used, and in terms of weight, it's just not moved at all. So it was weighing in at 6.5 grams and it's still weighing in at 6.5 grams. And you'll see from the picture of the measurements that it's not really moved from there either. So I'm not shocked. Not shocked. Didn't really use it, so I wasn't expecting a change on it anyway. But I do want to try and get some more use out of it in February. So it's a plan. And this was the other brow product that I've got. So it's the Innisfree Skinny Brow Mascara. As I said in my last video, I've been making it work. It's not my favourite. It does make your brows a little bit crunchy. I do feel like it's a bit too light for me, but I have been making it work, or at least it passes. And I have actually made some progress on it. As I've just said, I went for this over the pencil. If I was just wanting to get out of the door, I literally just ran this through my brows and that was it. I was done. Pencil just kind of got put to the wayside a bit. So I did use 0.5 gram of this. It originally weighed in at 13 grams and it's now weighing in at 12.5 grams. Happy that I've made some progress. Again, as with everything else, I want to try and make more, so I'm keeping it in. It's not expired yet, so I'm going to try and get some more use out of it before it does. Okay, so next we're on to lip products, and the first lip product in my project was the Illamasqua colouring pencil, and this was in the shade Raw. I've actually really enjoyed this. So it is a very light shade, so it's not something that I use for outlining my lips. I use it as a wash of colour on the lips and then pair it with the lip gloss that I've got in my project, and I'm really enjoying it like that. It's actually what I'm wearing now. It's what I was wearing in my last video as well, I'm sure. So yeah. I've definitely had some use out of this. I think you can see on the picture that there's been a chunk, you know, there has been some that I've used. I've had to sharpen it a few times during the month. So really liking it, keeping it in. I don't see any reason why I should take it out when I am actually using it and enjoying it. So that's that. And while we're on the subject, I might as well talk about the lip gloss. So this was the I Heart Revolution, I don't even know what range this is from, but it's praline, and it does still smell amazing. As I said, I'm using it with the lip pencil, and in terms of weight, I've actually made some progress on this as well. It's only 0.5 gram, but I'm quite pleased with that. Lip products were the things that I was most concerned about trying to use. I was a bit worried that I'd get to this check-in and nothing would have moved on lip products at all, because I do tend to just put it on and that's pretty much it. So I'm really pleased that I've managed to make progress. And on top of that, it's a lip gloss, which typically I don't really wear an awful lot. I've never really enjoyed wearing lip glosses, but as I said in my intro video, this is one that I don't actually mind wearing, and combined with that lip pencil, I'm actually really liking it. So it's encouraged me to sort of wear it more. So really pleased with that, definitely keeping that in. Again, no reason to take it out just yet. Okay, so next is my lipstick. So this is my bullet lipstick, and this is the L'Oreal Colour Riche lipstick in the shade Erotique. So I have used this a few times. The smell that I mentioned in my intro video doesn't linger all that much. It's uncomfortable for me for sort of the first like 10 minutes or so, and then I find that either it goes away or I just get used to it and don't notice it anymore. But either way, it's okay. I don't mind the formula. I still really like the colour. It's not my favourite formula, but I'm making it work. I'm going to keep it in just for a little while longer, but as with the fixing spray, I think once I get to my refresh, it's going to be gone. In my last video, I don't think I weighed this, so I don't know, I don't have a starting weight for this, but you'll see from the picture that it's not really gone down at all. I only really used it a handful of times, so there's not much to show, but I have weighed it for this one. So at the moment it's weighing in at 23.5 grams. And the liquid lipstick was the Bourjois Rouge Edition Velvet, and this was in the shade Cafe au Lait. I think I've used this once, so it's not my favourite. I sort of used it, I felt like it made my lips look really dry. I did try to put a lip gloss on top of it, but it didn't really respond very well with it, so I'm struggling with this. But I've literally only used it once, so I'm going to keep it in for now. I'm going to try a bit harder with it. This is another product that once I get to the refresh, I think I'm decluttering it. It's just not my favourite. It's not my favourite formula. It's not my favourite colour. I'm struggling to find a reason to use it. Yeah, and because I've only used it once, the weight on this hasn't changed either. So at the start of the project it was 28.5 grams and it's still 28.5 grams. Not surprised. I'm going to try in February, but I'm not holding my breath, and I'm also not going to force myself to use something that I'm literally not enjoying using. So it is what it is. We'll see how we get on. Next product is the lip balm, and this one was the EOS Evolution of Smooth lip balm. Some sort of coconut scented one. I can't remember what it was supposed to be. I've definitely made some progress on this. On my intro video there was a little bit raised, and I did actually say in that video that once I'd flattened it off I was probably gonna get rid of it. I'm not. I'm gonna keep it in because I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this on camera. Oh, a little bit. I noticed when I was using it this morning that you can see pink. You can see a faint hint of pink in the middle there. So I'm going to keep going with it, because if I couldn't see that pink I would have just got rid of it. But because there's a hint that maybe I can actually pan it, I'm quite excited by that. So I'm going to keep it in. I'm going to try and use it up. I don't think it's going to take me very long to do. I have been using it quite a lot, mainly because I want to get rid of it, because it's getting on and I don't enjoy the shape of it. So I'm going to put another sort of lip conditioning care product in as well. Again, I'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I'm quite excited that I'm getting there with this. I'm surprised that I kind of want to finish it now. So yeah, I think I'm just going to call this video the half gram episode, because at the start of this project this was 22 grams and it's currently weighing in at 21.5 grams. Pretty much anything that I've got in here has only lost half a gram, with the exception of a couple of things. But yeah, don't know what's going on there. It's gone down, not stayed the same. I've used it. I'm going to try and use it completely. Last couple of items then, we've got the Nailtex Nail Protein, and wasn't very good with this. I consistently forgot to use it. So I have made some progress. You can see I was, oh, here we go. Well, you'll see in a minute. There you go. So I was here and now I'm down to here. So I have made progress on it, but I definitely want to do some more. And the fact that I've managed to make progress on it when I've only used it about 3 times is exciting. But in saying that, I didn't put this in because I wanted to get rid of it. I put it in because I wanted to use it more for the health of my nails. So I've failed with that. So I am going to try and use it a bit more consistently throughout February. But we'll see how we get on. And it's definitely something that I want to have a backup of. So once I've got sort of about halfway down, I'm going to look at repurchasing it just so that I've got another one to follow on from, because as I said in my intro video, it works and I love how well it works. I just forget to use it, and that's the only reason that I've put this in my project in the first place. So it's staying in, and I'm just going to try and focus a bit more on it this month. And the last thing was a perfume. So it was the Vera Wang Princess perfume, and I did use it. You can see here, oh, almost. So you can see here, I was at the purple mark at the beginning of the project, and I've come down to here now. I feel like I may be past that hard part now. So I feel like if I use this consistently, I'm going to start making some like real headway in visible sort of use. So that's exciting. Again, I've only got this in the project because it's getting old and I don't want it to go off before I get around to using it. So I'm still liking it. I still really enjoy using it. So yeah, happy to keep that in, and excited that I might be able to get down a lot more within the next month. So that's that. Okay, so now we're on to products that I want to put into the project. So I've not really taken anything out, but because there's a couple of things in here that I might need to sort of replace part way through, I am going to just put a couple of things in. So the first one is a mascara. I've got 2 of these. They're both currently open, so I definitely need to start using them up. So it's the NARS Climax mascara. So just little sample sizes I had from Feel Unique. Just want to get them used before they go bad. So once the Hourglass mascara is finished, I'll be using this as well. In fact, I might use them sort of together to try and get some proper use out of both of them, rather than leaving this sitting for another couple of weeks. I can use them together, so it makes sense for me to try and do that if I can. So I'm putting that in. And then the lip product I was talking about is this. So it's from Barry M, and it's the Very Good Lip Oil. So when I finish my EOS lip balm, I'm going to try and use this a bit more. I quite like this lip oil, but it kind of works more like a gloss for me, which I don't necessarily need. But if I'm just using lip balm, then this is something that I can get away with. It's a bit sticky. It's not my favourite product, but I do want to try and use some more of it. I do want to try and use it up. There is another lip oil that I've got my eye on buying. It's the Linda Hallberg Blossom Oil. It looks really nice. It sounds really nice. I really want to try it, but I don't really want to buy it until I've got rid of a few lip products. And I've got this one sitting here. I might as well use it up first. So I'm going to try and use that up as well. As I said, I'm going to use it after I've finished the EOS product. So that's that. So that is all of the products in my project updated, and a couple added in as well. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know how you're getting on with your projects if you are doing one. And yeah, I'll see you again in the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all again in another video very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.